I think it's just about 1 o'clock. And I hope everyone is having a good day. Our friend, It Is What It is live. So I'm bringing him up. I'm going to give a shout out and say hi. Sorry, my cat is here too, causing trouble. Making it hard for me to type. I'm going to share him out. If I can type right. There we go. Our friend Vincent is here. Vincent, how are you? Do we have any reviews coming up today? I know Friday's normally the day for you, right? Or if Spice says he's rolling, which is certainly better than being stuck. I'm just I'm shopping around a bit on YouTube right now. Seeing what everyone is up to. I just looked over at Horror of Spice's channel. Just want to double check. There was a long stretch there where I was missing some of your updates, so I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Horror of Spice says tomorrow we're doing the watch along. Next week, same normal schedule. Awesome. I will make sure to check everything out. So our friend in Great Britain, Dottie, right now she, as of yesterday, actually as of 2 days ago, she was in the hospital. Few issues she needs to Dottie Door explore. Few issues that needed to be checked out. So we're going to make sure to keep her in our prayers, in our thoughts, sending energy, whatever type of well wish and energy that you do is fitting. When it comes down to it, when it comes down to healing, I don't think it matters what we call it. You can call it sending prayers, positive thought, good vibes. It's the intent that you are wishing someone to be pain-free, to be healed, to be well. That's pretty important. Vincent says, positive energy and reflection time for her. Thank you for that. A lot of people, maybe not a lot of people, some people sort of not take offense, but they get a little put out, a little huffy, as we used to say, when, would say send prayers, and people might say, well, I don't send prayers. Or the opposite. If you'd say I'm sending good intentions, they would say, well, I believe in prayer. It's the same thing. And it's the intent behind it that counts the most. And they've done quite a few studies on the power of prayer and the power of good intention. And it seems to have an effect, which isn't surprising. One, because it's still a popular means of seeking help. And two, uh, through quantum physics and the observer effect, we know that, um, for lack of the scientific jargon, that intention or energy goes when intention goes where energy follows, and energy goes where intention. You know what I'm trying to say. So, yes, so lots and lots of love and energy to our friend Dottie. She may very well be home from the hospital right now. She had an infection and it needed to be taken care of. Let's see. So, a couple of days back, we were talking about um, the reintroduction of wolves and bears in Scotland. Doesn't seem like that's going to happen, guys. Sorry to say. On the Scotland government site, they said that there are no plans for the reintroduction. It would seem that the Scottish countryside would be able to support a small population, but I guess um, they don't wish to. So yeah, we had a big conversation about that 1 or 2 days ago. For those who come here fairly often, um, you know that almost every conversation can lead to talk of bears, as it should. I'm doing some work here, as not work, looking stuff up that I thought we might want to talk about. Although, hey guys, if there's anything you want to talk about, just put it out there. I mentioned yesterday because I wanted to know what people thought about me. When the chat gets busy, I am prone to falling behind because I honestly feel that each comment anyone leaves is almost each comment worthy of a conversation in and of itself. And who knows where it's going to lead. Every little bit that someone puts out there can lead to something. In Sufi dream work, Sufi psychology, they when they dream journal, when they're diving into the world of dreams, personal dreams, what they do is immediately upon rising, write down your dreams, what you can remember. Don't censor yourself. Don't concentrate. Don't think, what was I doing? What did I say? How it happened? Just stream of conscious, whatever you can remember. Then go to the beginning. Take that first line and then write stream of conscious from there and keep going. As long as you're getting insights, as long as the energy is there, you just keep going until it seems to dry up. That's how I like to base the live stream on, sort of the Sufi dream work. That every comment that someone's going to put out there has the potential leading us into all kinds of different realms of possibilities, discussions. We just need to take it. We need to take that thread and run with it. So, having said that, I'm definitely going to fall behind when that happens. But I do my best to keep up. Joe Delaney is here. Joe, how are you? Joe says, Happy Friday, Sir Yogi, and respect, chat. Thank you for that. So, one of the things that's been on my mind is the gunas, Gunas, and I'm gonna talk about that for a little bit. And again, no conversation is set in stone. No conversation here is set in stone. Throw something out there, it doesn't matter what it is, and we'll talk about it. We'll see where it takes us. That's the fun thing about these live streams. We just don't know where it's going to take us. Let's let it be stream of conscious for all of us. Sometimes it leads to some surprising things, to new insights all the way around for all of us. It very often leads to inspiration, sometimes a little bit of healing, and most often of all, it turns out to be a whole lot of fun. So the gunas, this is part of yogic philosophy and psychology. I like making that difference a little bit. Philosophy is really fun to read, but does philosophy itself change you? Just knowing a philosophical insight or a philosophical school of thought, it can maybe inspire some introspection that helps with change. But I think in and of itself, philosophy doesn't lead to that positive change. Well, it might start leading, but it doesn't finish the work. You know what I mean? It might inspire. You might get really inspired by Buddhist philosophy and then dive into the path of Buddhism, and then changes happen. Same with yoga. Yoga psychology and Buddhist psychology are almost the same thing. Buddhist philosophy and yogic philosophy have some points of differences, mainly being the continuation of a self, of a personal self, with Buddhism saying there is no lasting permanent self, and with yoga psychology and philosophy saying, calling it Atman, which is an energetic self that transcends time and space and goes from body to body to body. Personally, I think it's sort of splitting hairs, because Buddhism talks about the non-self, and in yogic psychology, yogic philosophy, they talk about non-duality, and it equals to be just about the same thing. So the gunas. This is from the Arhanta Yoga website. I've taken quite a few classes from Arhanta Yoga, so I like using them as a reference point. So according to yoga philosophy, the whole universe can be divided into two main categories or elements. Prakti, or Maya, or illusion, and Persha, which is reality. Just tonight, watcher doing burpees in his bedroom is here. So everything that is changeable belongs to Maya. Everything that is reality or permanent, non-changing, is Persha. Again, I think we're sort of splitting hairs with what's changeable, what's reality, what's Maya, what's an illusion. The ultimate goal of yoga is to see beyond illusions and grasp the true reality, paving the way to samadhi, or enlightenment. One way to inch closer to true self is to understand, and that's self with a capital S, is to understand the illusion of the three gunas. Illusion doesn't mean not real so much as it means that it isn't lasting in and of itself. The three gunas are sattva, raja, and tamas. Those are the building blocks of the entire universe. Sattva is purity and knowledge. All of us and every bit of matter in the entire universe contains these three things in different proportions. Sattva is purity and knowledge. Raja is activity and desire. Tamas is darkness and destruction. We have all of those qualities. The goal of yoga is to slide our way closer to the sattvic state. We do that through the yoga asanas, through breath work, through right meditation, mindfulness, and as well as practicing the yamas and the niyamas, which are the um, ethical restraints and our personal observances. That's the foundation of yoga. Night Watcher says, say I'm going to kill myself with silica gel packets. One, why? And two, why would you choose silica gel packets? And I hope everything's all right. I hope you're not being serious. Let me know what's going on, Night Watcher. We get a salute from Joe Delaney. Joe, how are you? I saw you over on Masha's Mayhem and Miracles Night Watcher. So, gunas, they're present in every part of existence. They're found in a tree. They're found in you. They're found in me. It's found in the food that we eat. Varying degrees. One is usually more dominant than the other two. Different situations. Here on the site it says, the forces are present within us at all times and manifest in our reactions to certain situations and experiences. So if we react to something, and it could be, something easy or drastic or whatever, and if our reaction is based in darkness or destruction, then we could say that the dominant energy quality that we're possessing right now is tamas. If we dive into it, if we keep busy, always being active, it's raja, activity and desire. If we are less reactive and more responsive, if we're kind, if we offer generosity and forgiveness in moments of deep stress, we could say that we are sattvic, sattva, purity and knowledge. Joe says that she's good. Thank you for asking. A break from lunchtime. Well, I'm really happy that you're spending your break here, listening. Appreciate that. Night Watcher says, because they're painless. I wouldn't be so sure about that. And I hate my life. Well, Night Watcher, that's a place to start. You hate your life. Now, what can you do to make it different? Right now, it might seem like you can't do much. That doesn't mean that in a month you won't be able to, or a year you won't be able to. You told me the other day what you would like to one day accomplish career-wise. All of that's a possibility. And you have the talent to make it happen. But if you give in to the dark impulses when you're feeling down like this, when life is hard, you're giving up on the potentiality of what might happen. And I think you're in a position, because of all that you're going through, and because of the talent that you have, that you're going to be able to help a whole lot of people. People who might be feeling the same as you, who are feeling hopeless and helpless. Flower is here. And Night Watcher says, everyone hates me so much. And Flower says, we don't. I agree with Flower. We certainly don't. You become a good friend over time, Night Watcher. to all of us here. I certainly count on you for your company, uh, for your good sense of humor, for the information, for keeping me in check when I mispronounce something. Without you, I may as well change the title of my channel to Just a Yogi Mispronouncing Words in His Office. Night Watcher says, if I kill myself, everything will be less complicated. But you don't know that for certain. Might just, one, leave complications for other people to sort through. As well, who knows what happens? You can only surmise what happens after death. No one knows for certain. Flower says, that's what I thought once. I'm glad Flower doesn't think that any longer. Joe says, agreed, we don't hate you, and you're very talented. And you can go far. You can go far with that talent. So we don't know what happens after death. However, what we do know in life is everything changes. Everything. Buddha described suffering as clinging to that which is impermanent, clinging to that which is always changing, expecting things to be permanent. There's a whole lot of potential, a whole lot of open-endedness in that statement. If everything's changing, then how you feel right now, how your life is right now, is open to that change. Changing right now as we speak. And then energy and the intent that you give the direction of your life is going to be the direction that it grows in. Doesn't mean there won't be setbacks, doesn't mean that it might not be hard. However, in that pure potentiality, it's all possible. It's possible for you to make it happen. For you to work with the universe itself to bring about all of these possibilities into your life. Flower says, Night, you're a nice guy in a toxic surrounding. Flower, that was a very insightful thing. It was a very insightful and loving thing. And being a nice guy in a toxic surrounding is certainly not easy. However, the fact that it isn't easy, the fact that it's hard, the fact that you're gonna, I can't lie to you. There's going to be no small amount of suffering involved removing yourself from that situation, but you will. And you're going to have a whole lot, especially like I mentioned, with your talent, as well as Joe mentioned. And as Flower said, you being a nice guy, think how many other people you're going to be able to help. You're going to be of great, great service to the world. And right now, this is training for that service. Flower says that she was here since the beginning. I didn't chat. Well, I appreciate you being here. Let us know what's going on, Night Watcher. Um, and further proof that things will be less complicated, look at how much Night Watcher cares. Certainly complicate her life. So we'll give it a few minutes and we'll see what's going on with the Night Watcher. Um, I think some of the great artists, if not almost all of the great artists, have been in similar situations as a Night Watcher, and that has fueled the use of their talent. And that would be my wish for Night Watcher, using his talent to help heal and inspire. People can look um, at his life as a positive example of where they can go and how they can do it. Start exploring their own talents. When I was probably similar age to Night Watcher, earlier still, I didn't live in a toxic environment, but I had the beginning of what I later in life came to understand, uh, low level depression. And then that with a whole lot of poor self-esteem, lasting all the way up for a long time. It's one of the reasons why I drank so heavily in the 90s, most of my 20s into my early 30s. Because you think sometimes something like that, um, an outer source, brings you a sense of self-esteem. I would go to a bar and have a few drinks. I'd start laughing. I'd start joking with people. I would dance. Things changed. I could sort of call it popularity, but is it really popularity if it's based upon alcohol consumption and people that you're only friends with in a bar? It was enough for me at the time, because all of a sudden, all that stuff, all the things that inhibited me in the past no longer seemed to matter or even really be present until I was drunk and alone in the process of sobering up and realizing it was all just a game. I was stuck with the same person that I was before. Fortunately, I've always had an interest in meditation. I've always had an interest in yoga. And my practice deepened, and my dependence on alcohol lessened, and my dependence on feeling good all the time also lessened. I no longer demanded not being depressed, not being alone, not being all those things that we label as this sucks. I don't want this. You know what? Who am I to say what's should be or shouldn't be present in my life. Why should I not be depressed and someone else be depressed? Why not me? It's an aspect of life. I don't want it. I never wanted it. But when I stop fighting it, when I stop saying this shouldn't happen to me and realize that it doesn't matter what should or shouldn't happen, it's happening. I'm here. It's part of my life, part of my reality. It almost instantly became lighter. Didn't go away, but the fight vanished. Um, Same with that insecurity. Same with the feeling of aloneness. Um, Everything stayed present. Life continued the way it always did, but I was different. Um, that inner battle. So what? Sometimes you feel alone. Sometimes you feel depressed. I never like saying that, feel depressed. It's beyond a feeling. It's becomes the fabric of your existence when you suffer that kind of depression. And fortunately for me, it was never at the depth that other people that I know experienced, including my mother. But it was enough to cause that low-level suffering through most of my life. I'm certainly glad I wrote it out. I'm certainly glad that I decided to um, dive deep. And as we talked about yesterday, do the inner work. It doesn't even feel like inner work. Self, self-exploratory. Uncovering these things, healing, allowing, forgiving. Night Watcher, you need to check in. Um, Let us know what's going on. Let's see. We could always see if there's a way of contacting anybody. I don't know anyone who knows much about Night Watcher. So I'm thinking about ending the live stream then, as that's a major bombshell to drop on everyone, Night Watcher, and we can't do anything to help you. Unless anyone has a suggestion. So we got a name change. Is this your Newt? If I'm not mistaken, Newt should be, is it Newt? Note. That should be Night Watcher. I'm not sure if he's changed his, just changed his name or he started a new channel. If that's an old channel. Or am I mistaken that this is not Newt? Joe Delaney says, I'm lifting Night Watch in prayer. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. So it does not seem that Newt is Night Watcher. I think I'm mistaken about that. I think you're right, Flower. So, Newt, thanks for coming in. We're trying to communicate with a friend, but I appreciate you stopping in. On the subject of lifting up in prayer, I had mentioned earlier with Vincent, that Horror of Spice, that our friend Dottie is in the hospital right now. She might be out. She stopped in, I believe it was yesterday. She was getting tests done. She has an infection. And as we're lifting our friends up in prayer, we'll continue lifting Dottie up in prayer as well. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes, and then I'm just going to shut the live stream down early. And again, if anyone has suggestions, just put it out there. Let me know. I saw Night Watcher over Mayhem and Miracles earlier today. She is up and running, by the way. She's live right now. As I mentioned before, if anyone is looking to grow their channel in a positive way, go visit Mayhem and Miracles, Masha. Introduce yourself. Reach out to other people. Maybe give it a little bit of time before you ask for your link to be dropped. Eric says they were talking about you again. All good things, of course. Well, that's nice to hear. Nice to hear that it's good things. Always appreciate that I got some good friends supporting me over there. Yeah, I came by, I said hi. I saw Night Watcher. I saw Goldie. I saw our friend Ivy, which reminds me I need to put Ivy up and get some watch hours for her. I played through one of UK Medic's playlist. Again, if anyone has suggestions on how to proceed with Night Watcher, let me know. I am happy to talk with him and, ease our way through where he is right now. But he needs to reach out and let us know that he's not doing anything drastic. And
Salute and hello to everyone. What?
Excuse me, guys. That's Ivy's channel.
It's heart to heart.
I want to have her up to give her some watch hours. Kay is here. Kay, how are you? Eric Point says he was sick. Maybe he's a little foggy. That could be. I know things have been difficult for him for a while. Kay says, I'm out running errands and listening. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well as well also. Thank you. I am doing pretty well. We're concerned about our friend Nightwatcher. I don't know if there is a way of looking to see who is still available on chat. Selina says, Zen, are you a believer? It's an interesting question, and there's not a real answer to it. I think if you say you believe in Zen, you might not really understand the nature of Zen, and if you say you don't believe in Zen, then you also might be misunderstanding the nature of Zen. Zen in and of itself simply means meditation. And in Zen Buddhism, they have a interesting method of meditation. Well, several. They'll work with a cone, which is a answerless riddle, but it brings you to a deep state of understanding, what they would call a satori, which is an instant awakening. It's not enlightenment itself, but it's a glimpse, and you can go through a lifetime of satori. Sometimes you reach the accumulation of enlightenment, maybe you don't. In the end, I'm not sure it really matters. I've talked quite a bit about Douglas Harding, The Headless Way. It's a British mystic philosopher, non-duality experiencer, and he had a Zen experience. As a matter of fact, his book was he discovered his own headlessness when he was in the mountains in the Himalayas during World War II. He, just looking down, he saw the earth, he saw the mountains, he followed his line all the way up, noting everything was an object until he got to his head, or where he thought his head would be, and he discovered that he couldn't see his head. It wasn't an object. Not in his line of vision. We've never seen our head. We've never seen our face. We've seen reflections. We've seen photographs. We've heard comments, maybe a drawing, maybe a caricature, but we've never experienced the vision of our own head before. And when we look in this direction, we see emptiness. And yet, that emptiness serves as capacity for the entire world to exist. It's an aware emptiness, an aware presence, holding everything, every thought, every object that I see in this room is appearing within the nothingness where I think my head was, but I don't actually see. When you look in that direction, you have an instant awakening, an instant satori, and that's Zen. And you could sort of say it the same way as you say it in Taoism, where you say the Tao that can be told is not the true Tao. The Zen that can be described really isn't true Zen, but when you point and look, you instantly get it. And you don't have to do anything after that. You don't have to describe it. You just live from that open, aware, unconditionally loving presence. So my answer, my long answer, my probably nonsensical, sensible answer to Salina is yes. Crooked Peach is here, says, okay, done. Waving at Kay. Crooked Peach, how are you? Our friend Destiny Forever Walks PhD is here. Happy Friday, blessings and love, Eric. And asking me how I am. I'm doing well, Destiny. Thank you. We're concerned about our friend Night Watcher. He dropped some news that he was feeling suicidal and then dropped out of the conversation. I think the person who might be able to reach him the best is currently trying, and that's Flower. So our friend Salina asked a question about Zen, if I believed in Zen. And that was a great question. I believe in the non-experience of Zen itself. We say non-experience because anything that experienced needs an experiencer. And the true insight into our Zen nature is, again, that emptiness, which is why, the Zen Heart Sutra or the Buddhist Heart Sutra saying that emptiness is form, form is emptiness. And a lot of people like to, it's chanted all over the world. It might be one of the most chanted Buddhist scriptures available. But what's often misunderstood is we think of it in terms of emptiness becoming form, and that form can revert back to emptiness. But the operative word in that scripture is emptiness is form. Form is emptiness in and of itself right now. All form contains the essence of emptiness. All emptiness contains the essence of form. Everyone's saying hi. Always nice to see. Kay says, I hope someone there, I hope there was someone to help Night Watcher. I do as well. I'm going to mention again, because we have more people coming in, our friend Dottie Explorer is in the hospital as well. She may be out of the hospital now. She was getting tests done. She assured me and people who were in the chat last that she would be getting better, but right now she needed to get some tests in the hospital and then make some lifestyle changes. So as we're offering our prayers up to our friend Night Watcher, we're offering them up to Dottie as well. This really should be a gathering of prayer as much as it is anything. And I was talking earlier in the conversation about prayer. You can call it healing attention. You can call it sending energy, sending love, silently uplifting. Whatever best suits you individually in that offering. And it really should be I think more often maybe enter that intent that this could be a place as well for offering prayers for each other. And there's no such thing as a small prayer or a small desire, be it whatever. You know what? We can even call it making a wish. And I think it was last month I was talking about the Hawaiian art and shamanism of making a wish, and it's a beautiful method of working with intent, and that's the same as prayer, working with intent. Let's see. Destiny says, prayer for Night Watcher that God intervenes on his behalf and send in his heart cheer and pure love and joy. I nod my head, silent prayer, joining with Destiny as well. Sana says, so to be in the presence, Zen, it's a very good salt. Yeah. Let me, give me a second here. It's been a bit since I've, I was just recently reading something of Gestalt therapy. All right. Night Watcher's back with silica gel packets in hand. Says his life is hell. Night Watcher, as we were talking before, that's literally not a solution. You don't know what's going to happen when you take that. You don't know what pain it might cause you. You don't know what happens afterwards. You don't know the pain and the blame for a lifetime that you will cause everyone that you care about. My stepdaughter's father committed suicide, and my stepdaughter had, when she was young, she was 16. She's 31 now, and she's been dealing with that every single day since. Suicide doesn't accomplish anything for you. It doesn't make your life better. It doesn't. All it does is cause pain for the people you leave behind. Let's see. As well, I'm going to mention the fact that, you know, it's perfectly okay to hate your life right now and where you are and what's going on. But that doesn't mean that you destroy yourself and the possibility of creating something better. Because right now, the possibility is as present as much as the hate that you feel for yourself right now, as much as the suffering that you feel. As equal to all of that is the potentiality of everything being better. And Cartwright is here, says, guys, rate him. Brian Lane is here, says, hello, Eric and chat. Brian, how are you? No, you would cause, Nightwatcher says, family might love me again. You would cause them too much pain. That's not love. Brian Lane says, and yesterday when I said I kept having dreams like the one I was having, sometimes I still get high in dreams, and that's because I spent over 11 years doing it. So it's probably normal to have dreams like that sometimes. I agree, Brian. You're working through that energy. You could say that you're working through your karma, um, emotionally, energetically, working through that right now. That leftover energy, almost like you're putting that past life further and further behind you. Eric's Point says, and 100. Man, that's a high rating. Can't do better than that. And because we don't know what happens after death, we have theories, we have philosophies, but no one knows. No one's come back and told us exactly what's going to happen. You may just be opening yourself up to further suffering. To greater suffering. We like to think that, hey, we pass away and there's absolutely nothing, or that we go to a better place or whatever. Truth is, we don't know. If you went by not so much yogic or Vedic, but Hindu, if we go to reincarnation, you just take that suffering with you, a whole nother life. If you take it from a Christian perspective, you would go through purgatory, maybe eventually get to heaven, maybe not. If you took it from, the perspective of nihilism, there's nothing. To me, the pure nothingness without potentiality doesn't seem that big of a draw. I like the nothingness that's offered. We were talking with Selina about Zen. I like that nothingness that offers itself as potential for form to arise. That has a lot of promise to it. Brian says, I'm doing great, and thanks. I think Yogi Nadir thing worked for waking up. Today was better. That's awesome. Did you pick you picked something to listen to? Brian Lane says, Eric, were you ever into paranormal stuff? Just a question I always forget to ask you. Sort of. Not deeply. A passing interest. I like the paranormal of, the interdimensional travel and that kind of stuff, more so than the what happens after death or ghosts and stuff. I certainly think all of that's a possibility. I think too many people have experienced things to write that off. Night Watcher says, I'm confused. I have the silica packets in hand. I'm too chicken to take them. That's not being chicken. It's actually braver. It's actually braver to confront your life than it is to end it. Anyone can end their life. Night Watcher, have you ever looked into Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning? He lost everything in concentration camps during World War II. I mean, everything. Family, friends, his career, his health. And yet he still found meaning. Took him a while. There's a story that he told when they walked out of that concentration camp. They came upon a field of flowers and they just walked by it. They looked, but he felt nothing. He wasn't yet human enough He was stripped of his humanity in the concentration camps. And when he came across those flowers, all of them that he was walking with, they couldn't feel anything at all. A couple weeks later, he was out walking and he came across another flower patch. And this time he was overcome with awe and beauty because he had gained just enough of his humanness back to feel those human capabilities of that depth of glory that you find in a flower. So how you feel right now isn't going to be how you feel 3 weeks from now, or a month from now, or a year from now. You get to give your life meaning. There's no inherent meaning to life in and of itself until you come along and you get to give it meaning. You hate your life right now? Make something better with it. And then use your life to be of service for other people who hate their life. Help people. Don't end your life. That would be a chicken thing to do. Be there for other people. Be of service. You got too big of a heart, which I've seen here time after time, you wanting to help people. Night Watcher says, I'm just fed up. I'm numb. You know what? I question if you're really numb because you feel enough that you want to do something drastic. So take everything that you're feeling, everything that you're experiencing, and build from there. Make a life that you love. Night Watcher says he might have to repeat a grade. Brian says, I picked the guided one, then a Tibetan singing bowl one. I love both of those, as well as any of, sometimes we'll have the ocean soundtrack or a tonal guide. And I love the fact of being guided through Yoga Nidra, because you just get to relax. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to, when you're trying to withdraw the senses and you do it on yourself, you end up getting lost in the senses, unless you're someone who's been doing it their entire lives. So when you're guided, you have one priority: relax and listen. That which says 3 days later, my final. Flowers offering to help. Night Watcher says, my parents are treating me worse because I'm dumb. You're certainly not dumb. Man, how much information have you typed out here for me to read? You're extremely intelligent and friendly and personable, as well as being kind-hearted. That's a lot to build of, you know? That's enough to build an entire life from. That could take you anywhere you want to go. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. Right now is your starting point. It's not the ending point. You'll think about this time when you really thought it couldn't get any worse. And instead, you build an entire life from here, from this point. Brian says, I have ADHD too. Brian says, sometimes this is what prevents me from doing lots of talking on videos, ADHD. Just read something interesting or listen to something interesting on ADHD. Its true cause being trauma. At an early age, when we were unable to do anything but retreat and scatter our attention. Brian has offered some good advice, as well as Flower has something extremely insightful to say. Um, you have ADHD, you are not dumb. Two very, very different and distinct things. Brilliantly said, Flower. Brian has ADHD too. Hey, Night Watcher, have you ever spent time on Brian's channel and listened to his story? Brian was as low as you could possibly get. I'll let Brian share his story if he wishes to. He shares it on his channel quite a bit. If Brian can come through that fire and be where he is now and have an entire channel devoted on helping other people, you can do so as well. Our friend Squirrel Sniper is here, greeting beautiful souls from across the pond, but under the same skies. Brian says, because I jump from one thing to another, I forget what I'm talking about. I can do that as well. You guys seen it here. Night Watcher says, I'm failing. Failing is just an interpretation. Gives you a chance to start over. Nothing the matter with starting over. It is what it is here. Lewis, good mother freaking morning. YouTube family, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Flower asking some questions, some good questions. Brian says, and life used to be really miserable for me. Man, Brian, I would say that's an understatement. Night Watcher, did you know that Brian was actually in prison? He suffered through a horrendous drug addiction. And then he had to rebuild his life. Do you think, do you ever think that Brian didn't think that he was failing? That it was too hard to start over? As someone who, again, I mentioned before, battled my own addiction, I can honestly say there's never a point when you can't start over. That watcher says, rip the silica packets open. Squirrel Simply says, I've been wondering why God's angels went through trial by water. Huh. I never thought about that. Brian says it's taken a while to reprogram subconscious because I spent so many years doing the wrong things. So that's probably the karma for that. I agree. Night Watcher says, stop screaming. Yeah, Brian, there's energy that lingers after that many years of what you went through. and it needs to work its way out one way or the other. The Yoga Nidra is a great way of working through trauma. Gives you an opportunity to deeply forgive. As well, in the next few weeks, I'm going to be offering some somatic breathing, which also releases trauma. And you did a whole lot of trauma to yourself through those years of addiction. But you're open and willing and able to do some deep healing as well. Ceci says nobody wants to die. Just want the pain to go away. Death takes us out of the pain, but it will truly rob you from getting to your best life. I've been there, gave it over to God. He delivered me. Beautifully said. And I'm going to add one thing. We don't know if death takes you out of pain. You simply don't know. Brian and I are talking about the karmic effect of our past addictions and how it can linger. Who's to say that the trauma that you experience now won't linger in some way after you die? Suicide's not a solution. Night Watcher says I'm still contemplating. And as Destiny says, it robs you. Not only does it rob you, it robs everyone that cares about you. Flower says suicide doesn't take the pain away and it passes on to the next person. Man, that is so wise and insightful. And some of the studying I was doing on the many faces of trauma, there is generational trauma, relationship trauma. As Flower just said, basically, Night Watcher, anything that you do just passes your trauma on to everyone here who's trying to help you, everyone here that cares about you. Really appreciate both that comment from Destiny as well as Flower, as well as Brian being open to sharing his story. Brian says, today is my mom's birthday. I posted it with pictures of my mom on community page. Oh, happy birthday to you, Mom. I'm going to be sure to check out your community page. Hey, speaking of community pages, if you go to my community page, you'll see a drawing of me done by our friend Night Watcher, and you'll see his amazing talent and how far he can go with that. Night Watcher, you're talking about failing in school, and school might be a struggle because of your ADHD, because of other issues. However, your talent as an artist is unrelated to how you do in school. You've been blessed. You've been blessed with an amazing talent that you can develop more and more and more. And you can do as Destiny suggested. You give it all to God. See what happens. See where it leads you. So again, being the person that you are, I seriously don't think you want to pass that trauma on to others. Brian says you're going to be just fine, Night Watcher. And remember, nothing lasts forever. This is true. Night Watcher says, and why did God screw me over all of my life? Night Watcher, it's just life. Life is hard for everyone. And it also gets better for everyone. And it also gets hard again for everyone. No one is exempt from the harshness of life. Destiny just mentioned that she suffered her own dark night of the soul. Brian's been talking about, why did God give Brian an addiction? Why did I spend a decade nearly drinking myself to death, wrecking cars, ruining relationships, endangering other people's lives? Why does anything happen to anyone? Because it does. You spend your entire life, however long that life may be, asking why. That doesn't make it better. Maybe life is the way it is so you can be of service for other people. So when they say, why is life the way it is? And you can turn to them and say, so you can be of service to other people. I like what Ram Dass said about that. We're all just walking each other home. We're all just putting our arms around each other. We're joining our hearts, and we're just walking each other home. You are not exempt from pain, and you're not alone in your pain. Man, the entire world suffers with you. And if you're going to opt out, you just add to the misery of other people. If you truly want to do something, then put the silica packets down, pick up your pencil, and draw something beautiful and offer it to someone. Draw something beautiful and offer it to Flower, because she's sitting here begging you to be kind to yourself. Draw something beautiful and offer it to Destiny, who's giving you wonderful advice on how to proceed with your life. Draw something for Brian Lane, who is sharing his experiences with you. Squirrel Samper says, Brian Lane, indeed, the now is the most important place to be. Enjoy the given beauty and share that frequency for others to reciprocate. Nicely said, Squirrel Sniper. Brian says, very wisely, God didn't do that. It's the story you're choosing to believe. Flower says, God put Eric and chat into your life. That's one of the many things, many good things that are about to happen. Actually, Nightwatcher says, stop bullshitting me. Actually, everyone's doing the exact opposite. They're giving you their straight truth, what they've experienced. You, so you're 15 years old, right? Nightwatcher? I spent 15 years, as I mentioned, it was over a decade, literally attempting to drink myself to death. And worse, I endangered other people's lives. It's not bullshitting you. So I spent your entire life trying to kill myself. And again, worse, intentionally hurting people that I love, pushing them away, and endangering people's lives. So I came out of that 15 years, literally reborn, an entirely new person. Just a moment of grace, unearned, as all grace is. So, again, to me, it's the height of conceit when someone says, my pain is worse than yours, my suffering is worse than yours. Because it isn't. Life's hard for you. Life was hard for me. Life is still hard for me. I've lost both my parents. I went through a divorce. I've gone broke. Eric Point says some of the family are morticians, and the people who poison themselves always suffer the worst before they pass. And some are in such great pain, they ask for help to live. So don't do it to yourself. Thank you for sharing that, Eric. Destiny says blessings and love, everyone. Brian says, thanks, Eric. Also, I shared your channel there as well. Thank you for that. Oh, and a new friend who is 69, and this man does 100 burpees. Wow, awesome. I'm on your page right now. Actually, and Brian also just posted something on his community page. Don't just accept your life, lead it. Timely wisdom. Hey, Brian. I'm looking at the photo of you and your mom. She must be incredibly proud of all you've done and what you've accomplished. Destiny says, now may the Lord of peace himself grant you his peace at all times and in every way, the peace and the spiritual well-being that comes to those who walk with him. Thessalonian, am I saying that right? 3:16. Thank you for that, Destiny. Squirrel Snapper says, Brian looking fit. Yeah, he does. Brian says, stop believing the story, Night Watcher. Brian says, everything is an experience here, and we gain wisdom through each one to share with everyone. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, meaning the darkness will pass. Squirrel Semper says, Night Watcher, remember when I said live in the now? It's important to be aware that you have the presence of being in the present. That way you focus on what you project into the field. Squirrel Semper says, you guys just preach fucking God all the time. You don't mean or my life, so shut up. No one's talking about your life. We're talking about our lives, Night Watcher. If anyone talks about God, it's because they've experienced the presence of God, whatever that might be, through their own suffering. So you don't know our lives, Night Watcher. Just because you're going through something and just because you're threatening something doesn't give you the right to assume no one else has been through what you've been. So I would suggest take your own advice. Don't lash out at other people. It's not often that I get angry, and I've never gotten angry on my channel, but everyone here is trying to help you. Everyone's wishing you the best. Everyone is saying, hey, I don't have a solution. I don't know what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I don't know how bad your life is, only what you tell me. What I'm saying is, life is hard for every single one of us. Some of the stuff that I've experienced in 59 years old, you can't even yet imagine. You haven't been there. You haven't been reduced to on your knees in a wreck of a car, having almost killed an elderly couple because you wrecked your car into their house. You haven't been there. So don't tell me to shut up. Don't tell me to shut up on my channel. So my suggestion for you, Night Watcher, make your life better. Accept responsibility for your life. Don't give up. Get up and help other people. Make their life better. The only way your life is ever going to have any meaning is if you help other people make their life better. Hello Flower says, that's true, we don't know your life, but the things you share here are enough to know some of what you've been through. Hey, I dropped out of high school, and it took me a long time to get my GED and to go on to community college. I failed grades. I failed grade after grade after grade. Both my parents are teachers. I had a strained relationship with my mom because she expected so much more, and she literally thought her son wasn't smart enough for her. I had my own battles. Brian's had his battles. Destiny's had her battles. Flower is younger than you, and she has her own battles. Brian says he used to lie and cheat and steal from people. Night Watcher says that he's not religious, my friend. I was brought up a Christian, as I was as well, but I choose my own path and not one that was given to me. Me as well. Destiny says we're all just walking each other home. Let's all join into this journey together, and let's enjoy a walk and love conversations as we walk to our destiny and to our destinations. I agree. Beautifully said. Aaron is here. Aaron, how are you? Aaron says, can you help me, please? I don't know, Aaron. All we can do is try. All we can do is be there for each other. Desi says, you love just being who you are, just for existing. You don't have to do anything to earn it. Agreed. Eric Point says, 15 was tough for me also, and many others. So you're not alone. And now you're just, and now that's just a distant memory. Aaron says, yes, I have a lot of problems. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. Aaron, you've come in before and you've asked for help. But what can we do for you? As I mentioned before, you know, I think the best that we can do, we offer presence. Night Watcher says, I already lost the silica gel. Can't kill myself. Are you MF's happy now? As a matter of fact, yes. I am happy now. Because now you can get on with your life. Now you can pick up that pencil and you can draw something beautiful. You can make whatever life you want. If you're going to be miserable at this point, and this is what both Destiny and Brian Lane were alluding to, as well as Eric Lapointe and Squirrel Sniper. Now's the opportunity. Build something better. It's not going to be easy. It's going to suck sometimes. That's life. But man, you know what? The fact that it hurts sometimes, the fact that we suffer sometimes, that makes it all the more beautiful. All the more beautiful. I wouldn't trade any ounce of pain that I've experienced in life. Anything. I wouldn't trade it. It broke me open. And being broken open is the greatest gift ever, because now you get to love absolutely everyone. Aaron says, thanks. Greetings. Asking if I can help. We can try. But you got to share with us. Flower says, you don't sound happy that you can't kill yourself. And plus, why do I feel like you if you found it again? So Linus says 100 to 400 billion stars, Milky Way, 2 trillion galaxies that you can be seeing, possibly a small fraction. A guy on As, who rode into the obscure day 2,000 years ago, claims to have created in a solar day. Interesting. Well, Night Watcher, we can't police you. You know, you're a world away from us right now. We can't stop you from doing what you would like to do. All we can do is let you know that you hurt the people you leave behind. And that, as Destiny said, you rob yourself of the opportunity of creating a life of beauty and meaning, not in spite of your suffering, but because of your suffering. Don't deny that it hurts right now. I mean, I know you're not denying, but don't deny that from this hurt and this suffering, that life continues and that you can build something really beautiful. Think of all the great, great works of art. Aaron says, I don't want to go to Respite tomorrow. I don't know what Respite is. Night Watcher says his head hurts, so good night. Aaron says, I have special needs. Brian says he's dropped out as well. Aaron says, I don't want to go to Respite tomorrow morning. Charlie is here. Charlie, how are you? How many more weeks of school you have left? Aaron says, it's where I get a break from my parents. And that you were sad. I'm sorry that you're sad. Scroll Sample says, Eric Lapointe, a short period of rest or relief from something difficult or unpleasant. Aaron says, hi, yeah, what are your thoughts about your health insurance? And what are you doing for your birthday cake? And I can help with them for today, on Friday morning or tomorrow. Well, that's an interesting change of topic. What am I doing for my health insurance? I'm eating right. I'm meditating, doing breath work. I do my yoga. Uh, I practice forgiveness, releasing grievances, being kind to myself, being kind to others. Um, and I haven't had a birthday cake probably 10 or more years. Um, so if you can help with that for today, Friday morning, or tomorrow, um, you would have to wait until next year on April 17th for the birthday cake. Solana says, everybody's got a story. I've had an interesting life, very, very interesting life, but I am just another story in the crowd. Someday, me, just a stone in the field, name unsteady. I agree. Everybody's got a story. Aaron says, sad about that, but I don't want to go to my grandma's because house on Friday and Sunday night, and I have no friends for Christmas anymore, and I'm going back here to watch the movie. Well, Christmas is just under a year away, so you might, in that time span, make some new friends, and you will have them for Christmas. And that'll be a good thing. Aaron says, what presents? I got a camera for my birthday. That was actually a really big deal. Charlie says, hi, Eric. How's my favorite YouTuber doing? And here's a question. One of the live stream. What's your favorite activity to do? Man, that's a good question. Probably writing. But everything goes together. My writing flows from my meditation. From meditation, I get to cultivate a sense of appreciation for being alive. Being alive, I get to go out and be in nature. And it all works in a circular fashion. Hey, and I appreciate you saying that I'm your favorite YouTuber. So, yeah, I said writing. I could just as easily say meditation. I could just as easily say walking in nature or running in nature, um, because they're all interrelated. Squirrel Sniper says, right to the point, Aaron, just go to your grandparents. You owe them that. Aaron says, what my last problem I said on here? You didn't actually mention the problem. You came here and said a couple times that you had a problem, but you never actually said, Aaron is not allowed at her grandma's house. I'm sorry about that. Solana says, for some, angry, misery, dread, or fear is a state that gives meaning. This is true, but is it meaning that you want it to have? Is it the meaning that helps other people? Serves in any way? When I say serve, does it serve yourself? Is that anger serving you, or is it destroying you? Same with misery, same with dread. As the Buddha explained, you're not punished for your anger, you're punished by your anger. Anger is the punishment itself, what it does to the body, what it does to the mind. Aaron says, please hope for your birthday and please pray for me. You have my prayers, my friend, and my family. You will be able to do that for today to please help with my friends and family. I can definitely do that for you. I'll be honest, I don't fully understand. I don't need to understand. You asked for prayers, and my friend, I'm happy to give you prayers. I'm happy to send them your way. Destiny says, I know that we don't like mistakes, but they give us the opportunity to create our life and make it better, and even sometimes almost perfect. Well said. And who's to say um, there's a difference between perfection and mistakes? There's the Japanese art of wabi sabi, the how a crack in something that breaks, allows the inherent beauty of that object to be shown. So they mend it back together with like a gold lace so that you see that crack highlighted. It's the crack itself that makes the beauty. It's the mistakes that make the beauty. It's the suffering that makes the beauty. If you want a life that doesn't contain sorrow and grief and all the other stuff that comes with it, then you're not asking for life itself. However, having said all that, it is different than psychological suffering. Yoga and Buddhism, as well as the teachings of Jesus, all describe a way of alleviating our suffering, not alleviating misery, not alleviating pain, not alleviating sorrow and grief, but the psychological suffering that accompanies that. When we say, I don't want, I wish I was better, I wish I was different, I wish things were other than they are right now, that's suffering. Right now, sometimes life is hard. Wanting it to be different doesn't help, and it causes my suffering. Embracing what is right now and then dealing with the situation, working with the energy that's present, that alleviates my suffering, gives me a path forward, gives me a path through it. You mentioned, a lifelong battle with depression until it no longer became a battle. It's still present, but I don't fight it. It's just an aspect of my life that there's a low-lying depression. And yet through the years, I've now found it doesn't affect the joyfulness of existence. In fact, it enhances it. It's a gift. I get to experience this. If I didn't exist, I wouldn't get to experience that. Now, I know it's different for other people. I know people who suffer major depression, literally can't get out of bed depression. All of us are different. So Aaron says, sheep, are you from the, that would be squirrel, are you from the UK? I don't want to go to my grandma's house that Sunday night. I don't want to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. Does anyone really want to go to Bed Bath & Beyond? I'm going to take that back. Going beyond sounds pretty good. Aaron is asking help. What do you want me to do? Please. Well, Squirrel Sniper gave you some pretty sound advice. Is there any way you can get out of going to your grandparents' house? If you can, then do that and don't go to your grandparents' house. If you can't get out of going to your grandparents' house, then you simply go to your grandparents' house. So I think that's probably the only help that I can give you. I certainly can't tell anyone what to do and what not to do. Squirrel Sniper says, how old are you? Aaron has no internet. Well, Aaron, I appreciate you stopping by. We're actually going to close things down for the afternoon. Um, this was a tough live stream for us to go through. Aaron is scared. I'm sorry to hear that. Our friend Odom is here. Odom, how are you? Aaron is talking to her dogs. Flower says, I have an ordinary life, a normal life. Happy-ish one. Good. Because, Flower, you're a good and kind-hearted person. And you deserve that happiness. Charlie says, that touched me as I love writing as well. Awesome. Love hearing that. Aaron says, what are you doing tonight? And what are your plans for tomorrow? I'm actually going to go live again later today. Again, we're going to shut things down in just a minute, and then I'll be live later. And tomorrow, I'm going to do almost the same thing that I did today, but differently, because it's a different day. Odom says it's getting back to normal. Just have to repurchase some of the tree flower. Man, I'm glad to hear that, Odom. Flower says, why I'm not working today? I'm not. Sorry, Flower. My apologies. Aaron says, that's a good question. I did my work for today. I did my writing. Reaper says, can I have breakfast in your house? Yes. It's going to be oatmeal. And here's the thing, when I make my oatmeal, it becomes an act of presence, becomes an act of love. In the Vedic tradition, it's called prasad, preparing your food with the intent of love. So as I put my oatmeal in the bowl, I thank the oats. I thank the people that picked the oats, that grew the oats, that shipped the oats, that drove the oats over, the people that made the container that they came in, and on and on. The cashier, the person who put it in the bag, that I have a car. Although actually right now I don't have a car. All the way. And then on to the walnuts and the blueberries and the banana. So I would actually make oatmeal for you, my friend, and I would have that same care and intent in making that bowl of oatmeal, so that when you eat it, you would actually be experiencing prasad. You would actually be experiencing the intent of the gratitude and the love that goes in that bowl of oatmeal. And it would be the best darn oatmeal that you ever had. Or it would just be oatmeal. It's all about the intent. Aaron says, no help for me. Well, I did my best. I don't even have an iPhone. The Godzilla says, hi. The Godzilla, how are you, my friend? Thought just close your eyes, and you got a mental image of a small fairy with dark brown hair and green dress sitting on a stone in the middle of a waterfall. Milky Way green fog with some white. That's an awesome vision. I absolutely love all things mythical and mystical. From fairies to the elementals. All of it. So Aaron's not happy with me on Valentine's Day? Flower says, anyway, I don't know what that was about. Hey, it was a gift. Any vision like that is a gift. You think you could draw it? You think you could draw what you saw? So, Aaron, I can't read all of your comments. I apologize. Especially as right now we're saying goodbye. I definitely need to recharge after a little bit of this conversation. It's been tough all the way around. No one likes to see a friend suffer. Flower says that she's wondering if you're looking for attention or actually need help. Or both. Sometimes attention is help, you know? Sometimes attention is the help that someone needs right now. Even, I consider sometimes conversations like these might be someone trolling. Does it matter? Does it matter if someone's trolling? Because they obviously need something. They're investing time and energy to do this. The very least I can give them is intention. Do I have a girlfriend? I have an ex-wife. That's even better than a girlfriend. Don't quote me on that, by the way. The Godzilla says bye. Take care, Godzilla. Appreciate you stopping by. Charlie says no, don't leave. Jesse says, Aaron, how can we help you? You have no content on your YouTube channel. So what can we do to truly help you? Please start with being true, open, and being honest. Well said. Godzilla says, sadly, I came too late. Yeah, just a little bit. I got some things to do. I'll be live again later if anyone feels like stopping by. We can continue what we're doing now. We can do something totally different. We can talk about brand new things. One thing we're going to keep in mind is that we have friends right now who are going through some stuff. From Dottie to Night Watcher to Aaron to Odom, who is still working for his garden to recover. So all we do, we lift him up and we lift him up and we lift him up. Dottie's here. I just mentioned you. I've been mentioning you throughout the chat, Dottie. Sending prayers, good intention, and love in your direction. Aaron says, favorite song. That's a good question. Every song's my favorite song. Every song that I love is my favorite song. Dottie, I'm getting ready to close things down, but before I do, are you home yet? Dottie says, Flower, I'm okay, but quite weak. Well, hopefully now you can start rebuilding your strength. Hey, working on here, Aaron, is no small thing. Aaron says, see you tomorrow. Okay, I'll be here. Am I going to have a new boyfriend? Well, I think all I can handle right now is an ex-wife. I actually have a car. I'm just not able to drive it. That's a whole nother story. Odom says, sending prayers and strength, Dottie. Thank you for that, Odom. Dottie says, the hospital let me come home. Awesome. Lots of hardcore antibiotics to take for 5 days. Ahmed says, hello and how are you? I'm fine, my friend. How are you? Eric Point says, hello, Dottie. Eric was talking about you today. All good things, of course. Definitely all good things. We got a thumbs up from Ahmed. Flower offers some good advice. Make some food in bed and relax and chill while reading a book or scrolling YouTube. Excellent advice. Dottie's on her favorite live show. Well, thank you for that. I almost said, oh, really? Wow, what's that? And then it hit me. Thank you. And Flower says mine too. Thank you for that, Flower. Flower, sometimes I'm afraid because I'm old and stuck in my ways that you might find it boring here. Aaron says he needs a new boyfriend. She needs a new boyfriend. One will come in time, my friend. They always do. So I'm seeing how far behind I am before. I'm not too far behind. Ahmad says he's 36. So, guys, let's close things down for the day. It's been a wild ride. Here's what I'm learning from my YouTube experiences lately. Dottie says I'm going to excuse myself as I need some sleep. I'll catch you next time. Thank you, Dottie. Thank you for coming and for the update. And very much appreciate that. You've been on my mind. So, anyway, before I shut things down for the day, we'll be back this evening. I want to say that some of the things that I'm learning, conversations like this, YouTube isn't easy. It's a lot like life. You take it as it comes. Last night, man, we had a real smooth and easy and loving presence. The return of the fellowship of beingness. And it was nice. Today, this afternoon, it was rocky. And it was just as valuable. Just as valuable. Maybe even more so in a way. We work through the issues with what we have. We lift ourselves up. We lift other people up with us. As I said from Ram Dass, and as our friend Destiny mentioned as well, we're walking each other home. That means there's bumps along the path. It is a bumpy road. So, you know, I mentioned before how we have to be careful sometimes what we ask for. Sometimes our wishes come with the dark side. I wanted to grow my channel. I take the experience for what it is. I got some great people coming in. But with all those people coming in as well, and man, what a small little tiny slice of what is out there. That means you have a responsibility for helping the people that come in, whatever that might be, however it goes. Also means you got to take care of yourself. And that's knowing when you have to shut the channel down for an hour or so, do some meditation, get something to eat, and come back fresh. And we'll see what's going to happen this evening. It might be pretty cool. It might be pretty peaceful. We'll find out. If you guys are available, come on by. Flower says, I'm close to 50. I need to... Hey, Flower, draw that fairy that you saw and share it on your community page. And I can share it out. And speaking of your community page, or speaking of your channel, I saw that you have a new video that I need to go visit. You are at 40 subscribers, I see. That's awesome. Well deserved. We're going to get you to 50. Squirrel Sniper says, if you take care of yourself, you can then take care of others. I agree. 100%. Thanks, guys. I appreciate everyone joining in. And I'll see you all later.